How's it going, guys? I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to yet another episode of Vaughn Coleman Presents. I am, of course, your host, Vaughn Coleman. And before we get started, I always like to promote some stuff I'm working on, so let's get right into that. Um, Real quick, I want to shout out only 2 days left, guys. A little more than 2 days to back Tragedy, which is my first ever. Well, Tragedy is not my work. It's a tragedy trade paperback with some three great covers. But most importantly, in terms of me, my first ever published work is this 10-page short story called Land of the Lawless, which I would love to expand on one day. But for now, it's just a 10-page short sequence that is totally self-contained, but it would be a great opening scene for a longer series. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely check that out. And also, I do want to point out that the sign-up list for my comic book, Living Legends, is still active. I even added some new artwork in here. And when you sign up, you will get an exclusive free trading card. So make sure you do that because it's going to be something really special. So without further ado, enough about me, all right? You see me all the time. Let's bring in this man who maybe you've seen on the channel before, maybe you haven't. But either way, please welcome HOJO. How's it going?
What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much, just interviewing you. And
Yeah.
I got the mythicals right here. I think the rest of the stuff is downstairs. This cover, by the way, is great. It's so good.
Man, that's Dan Dahl, dude. He knocked it out of the park.
He is unbelievably good. I hope that he continues to grow. He's an artist that I just really like. I don't think I've read any of his interiors yet, but like every time I see art from him, it's just like, wow, it's so good.
Yeah. He sent me this, like when he sent I had the original pencils for that cover, and he sent me that, like a print of something he did.
Wait. Ooh, that's it. That's so cool.
Yeah. Like with Copics and stuff.
Wow.
So that's all Dan, like colors and everything.
Oh, he did the colors too. Did he color the
yeah,
cover? That you did?
No. I don't want to butcher his name, but he's actually worked with him. That's how I found him, was through Dan. He colored like the silhouette pages and Lost Pages.
That's
like
awesome.
Through Diaz and him.
That's awesome. So I like to ask these kinds of things. So like, you're creating comics, right? How'd you first get into comic books?
I mean, seeing cartoons when I was a kid, I guess, like, and the old Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk. So like, I'm a big Hulk fan to this day because of it. And, like X-Men and X Factor and stuff like that. You know, because I'm like in my early 40s, so. But I was like 10 years old when Image happened, so.
Oh yeah, so you were one of the people that came in during the '90s boom. So
Yeah.
was your first did you get X-Men #1 then, when it was on the shelves?
Oh yeah. I got probably like 10 copies, man.
Yeah, I have one, but okay, so everyone has more than one. That cover is just amazing. The fold out. That stuff's just incredible, and I know that it is amazing that it still goes up in value though, even though it is the highest selling comic book of all time. I guess there's not enough copies because people still want them. Which I did. I bought one.
It's just one of the best covers of all time.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that. I've been reading through. I'm almost at that point, but I haven't quite gotten there yet. So
Right.
you're into the cartoons. You were into the Image boom. Did you have any favorite comics?
Like X Factor. Like I'm a big Peter David fan,
Oh yeah.
and his work on the Hulk, and of course, like it's how I discovered Dale Keown.
Oh yeah,
Me
Peter
and,
David's
Yeah.
great. I want to read his Hulk and his X Factor. I'm getting there. Have you read Hulk: The End?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a masterpiece. I
Yeah.
love that book.
Yeah, Dale nailed that too.
Yeah, Dale kills it. He always kills it. He brings his A game, and it's really special stuff. So okay, so we got that was just I love hearing about that and what inspires people to get into comics because there's always so much incredible stuff on the market.
And I discovered Vertigo through all that too. Like Heavy Metal magazine, because like my comic shop, it's almost like porn. It was like a room for 18 and over. You had to be able to go in there. We like distract the guy at the front. We'd go in there and be like, oh, Swamp Thing, all this Sandman. And so, because I was a big I was a heavy reader. I read above my level,
Oh yeah.
and comic books kind of helped me like get a good vocabulary, and just little did I know how to design like dialogue and a plot structure by looking up all these different words. And so like I would carry that through with like books I was reading.
That's awesome. So said you read above your level. Did you read a lot of like novels too, or a lot of
Yeah, but like older stuff. Like it's weird. Like I'm a Charles Dickens guy. I'm not like
Okay.
like classic stuff. Like fantasy stuff. Jules Verne and like
Mm-hmm.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Big into Robert Louis Stevenson.
Gotcha.
Big into fiction.
Gotcha. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't love fiction? Some great stuff. So I'm wondering. Okay, so you're into that. You've shown some of your favorites, but what inspired you to finally take the leap and write your own stuff?
Well, I mean, like I came up with this idea like in 2005, and we were gonna go to CrossGen, but they were out of business when we came back, so put it on the shelf, and I just started seeing like I wouldn't say shitty comics because these are artists and these are professionals, doing these gigs, but I'm like, this is like subpar. Like to say what you want about like Joe Madden in the '90s, like it was great. Like you can't you can not like it, not like the style, but you can't say he didn't know what he was doing. Some of these people, I'm like, oh, God, dude, let's like Tumblr vomited into like a trash can, like. And I started noticing that they were starting to put things into the stories. And I'm like, man, dude, this ain't got nothing to do with comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just like go back to, you know, space cops and fucking superheroes fighting in the middle of the city over something that's not like a protest at a climate change conference or something.
Mm-hmm. So you weren't gripped by these stories, in other words.
No, like, and I left comics a little bit in like 2008, 9, like, it's just like event fatigue, Marvel, like that whole Secret Invasion thing, then they went right into like Axis and all this shit. It just kept going and going, and like, it just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. There's so many, and there's also always these crisis events too that are just nonstop.
Like I'm a big fan of the Defenders. Like tell me stories like that, like 3 or 4 issues. Like it's this cool little adventure, and then we'll get back and do some crazy shit, get some new team members or something, and go do something else cool. Let's just tell stories. Like they can't do anything with the characters.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they can't tell stories, because they have contempt for these characters.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, you know what? Fuck it. I will do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed all this crowdfunding thing was going on. Like the first thing I saw was like Joe Sontag's, like a Picture Reaper Destroyer. I think it was like the Shelby cover.
Shelby Robertson.
I was like, man, these people were doing it. They don't need publishers. I don't need to submit to shit. So I started doing my homework, and I started grinding and got some people together on board that was like, yeah, I believe in the project, and boom, there it is. So now I'm doing it again.
There you go. And how long are you planning on keeping this this whole series going?
It's like 13 issues. Like it's all plotted out, pretty much done. Like I just got to actually write the last 5 issues, maybe.
Oh, awesome!
But the last one's like a double finale.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I know those. I like those issues. I mean, of course, you had like Daredevil 181, Uncanny X-Men 137. Those double-sized issues are always really cool, especially to cap off a great storyline.
Yeah, like the annuals and stuff. I remember.
Oh, those
stuff like
too.
That.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I was even talking like they'd have just like a regular issue, and they'd be double-sized. I mean, I don't even know how they would do that on a monthly basis, but I guess they'd find a way. It's nuts.
Because, man, they were creative. They're just hammered away because they loved being in comics. The people that are in comics now that are running all the corporate shit, they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
They never wanted to be there. They never grew up reading that shit. They don't... Like, these covers you just rattled off, they're going to be like, yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't know. They don't know these things because they don't care.
Yeah.
So... That's what happens with any industry when a lot of people get a hold of it and it gets watered down, homogenized, and the people that are there for, monetary reasons or whatever, what have you, and then people come along and are like, we know how to do this, just let us take it. it's happened with the indie horror market's happened to that too. Like the mainstream horror franchises, they don't make money really. It's all these like Shudder and all that stuff. They make a lot of money.
Yeah, I gotta resubscribe to Shudder, but I haven't watched any horror movies this month. Can you believe that? I'm a huge horror
Oh
movie
no, I
guy.
was gonna say that too, because I'm busy with the kids and stuff, but we got a few lined up.
Oh yeah, what are some of your favorite horror movies?
I like the first Nightmare on Elm Street,
Oh, it's
and the third one. I usually watch those back to back.
yeah. I
Pretend
never.
like the
I was
second one
told to
didn't
skip the
exist.
second one. Is the second one really bad?
Yeah,
I
it's
never
really
watched
bad.
it. I did. I love. I honestly, controversial opinion. I like Nightmare on Elm Street 3 better than 1.
Oh no, yeah, totally.
I
It's a
think
great,
Dream Warriors is better.
yeah. Oh, that's a great concept.
Yeah, man. It's a great concept. I think it's executed well. I mean, there's some stuff like I wasn't crazy about a certain character death for those that haven't seen the movie, but
Yeah.
otherwise I liked it, man. I think it's solid. And this brings me, I guess, to this because obviously on your cover everyone has a distinct look, and that's one of the things that was cool about Dream Warriors too. Is everyone had their own thing and then their own dream world, and that's what made it so special. Um, I can't remember 3. You should watch 3 then, Doug. It's a good one.
Oh yes, it is.
Nightmare 2 gained more of a cult status lately. That's interesting. But yeah, I mean, back to what I was saying. Yeah, I mean, I think that the best and most important part of any story, in my opinion, is the characters. And so I'm wondering, for those that don't know your book, like, let me pull up the book itself, but tell us a bit about the characters.
Well, you have Nancy Moon. That's the lead. So in issue 1, she gets recruited by Level M, which is like a supernatural task force created to kind of fight other monsters. So it's kind of like I guess you would say BPRD. I never read that, but that's what it keeps getting compared to that in like Dresden Files.
Yeah,
And,
I've been meaning to check out BPRD. I know a lot of people love it.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a covert task force. I would give like the 2-second pitch. It's like Buffy the Vampire Slayer mixed with Wildcats with a little X-Files conspiracy sprinkled in. So eventually each issue builds upon the other one, and we get to go on this adventure to find these 8 artifacts.
Yeah, and I see a little Men in Black in there too. Just the kind of the setup.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, super secret government task force. I mean, it's really cool, and you get a glimpse of some of the characters, but I imagine you'll get more in the second one.
Oh yeah, like the first 2 issues is almost like a 2-part pilot. So it wraps up. I can't introduce 6-7 characters in 24 pages. It would just be, just wouldn't work. You just can't do it. So you get to meet 2 new team members in this. Our lovely lady here, and then we get the werewolf is like the grizzled veteran who's gets kind of like Red, where he gets dragged back into the fold.
Yeah. Right here. Here we go. I mean, this is all dope. And so I have a question. So when it came to let me go ahead and pull the trailer before I continue.
I told that moron not to take out my Tchaikovsky tape. No matter, let's get started. Here we are, Nancy Moon. The last time we left our heroine, she had just joined my esteemed colleagues at level M. We have the soldier who cannot stop talking, a magician with money issues, and a vampire with a checkered past. But there are other teammates she's yet to meet. One in particular might be a little bit shocking for her. I do hope she's not allergic. Back it today, won't you? Like right meow.
You always do good trailers, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, let me make sure these people are credited. There you go. Got to make sure that they're credited. So, okay, we got these, and this book looks great. So I have a question. So this is a military. It's not military, but it's like a government task force. I know you're a veteran, which, by the way, thank you so much for your service. Did you pull from that when you were writing this?
I mean, kind of like some of the tactics and techniques, I guess you would say, like when they go out on a mission, like language and verbiage and body movement. But No, not really, but a couple. Like the Lucas character is kind of like an amalgamation of a couple people I knew in the military. So it's kind of like a little tribute to them.
And that's him.
Yeah, yeah. See, he still thinks throughout the book he's the star of the show.
But it's not. It's her.
Yeah.
Do you have a personal favorite among all your characters?
Oh man,
It's like you are choosing your children, so
It
it might be
is,
an
it
unfair
is,
question
man.
to ask.
yeah. I mean, I guess like maybe the cat because
Ooh,
he's like the natural observer.
that's
Like
I didn't expect that.
like
That's
he's
cool.
been doing this for if there's any it's not like a self insert, but if it's anybody who ever like my thoughts on the world would ever seep into the book, it would be through him because
Gotcha.
like he's been doing this for like 200 years and he's just had enough. Like he don't like dealing with this shit. Like all of these people, he's just constantly all he wants to do is sit in his library and read books all day.
Gotcha. There we go. So definitely, this is a cool book, man, and I like all these character designs too. Was this designed by your main artist, Tom Stikas?
No, I went. A lot of them were based on my concepts and my sketches, and then it was through a guy I paid down in Texas a couple years ago. He did the concept art, and then I got it refined with his Romo Arts. I guess that's his name. It's Ron Masicki. I'm probably messing it up, but he did the revisions with the werewolf and the siren there, and so we took it from there.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's really dope, man. It's really dope stuff.
And they're all fun to write, man. The dialogue. That's the Peter David Stan in me. Like it's when they do now the dialogue, it's like sitting around a table talking about social media. This is like people like because I've been in army teams and stuff. I guess I pulled from that too. Like I know how to balance a team, like a team dynamic. Like it's I've dealt with so many different characters and personalities clashing and stuff. It's fun to write because it's life experience.
Dude, I love writing dialogue. That's got to be one of my favorite things to write. Like, I just
Yes.
love getting, like, knowing my characters inside and out, and then kind of putting them together. And, like, I just find that often when it naturally flows. And if it doesn't, usually I've hit a wall or I've just haven't worded something properly. But I could just bang out page. There's so many pages of just dialogue that I've had to cut from not just like my comic scripts, my film scripts, where I could go on pages and pages and pages. I remember one time in 10 or so minutes I just wrote like 10 pages worth of dialogue for a horror movie thing. And then I was like looking at my plot and I was like, okay, that was fun. Contributed nothing to the plot. I'm like, all right, it was fun dialogue. Gotta go. And I mean, I'm sure I'm sure you deal with that too, where it's like you have to cut out some of your favorite, bits and pieces.
Yeah, because you'll have a
children.
panel in your head, and then you like want them to monologue and riff a little bit, but not so much to where it's like you can only see that much of his face. So you got to be conscious of that, like with the word balloons.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the word. That's another thing too. I remember the first time I sent an industry professional, which I'm gonna make sure I thank him and a lot of people. It was actually my first guest ever, Justin Gray. And he gave me some great feedback, man. He lettered a page for me, like not without even, well, there was nothing here, but he just did a page layout and showed the size of the panel that it would be on the page and the amount of dialogue bubbles, and you could see that it literally takes up the entire page. And I'm like, or the entire panel, and I'm like, okay, thank you, because when you visually see that it's just what you have in your head just isn't feasible, it does help. And that's the same thing with like, I've always felt this way every time I enter a film set. I can have it perfectly in my head when I write it in my script, but until I'm at the location and then I'm working with putting the camera there, right?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, that's not what it looks like. And then you kind of have to just accept that, things are going to change. And sometimes it leads to things for the better. Often it does. There are times where my artist, even so far in my own book, has come up with stuff. I'm like, that's even better than what I wrote down or what I saw in my head.
That's great. I love it when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. So I meant you talk about Peter David a lot. Is he your favorite?
I guess. I mean, I guess a close second would be Chris Claremont, and it almost like depends on like the day and like John Byrne. Like,
Yeah.
I love the series Excalibur.
Oh, Excalibur. Yeah, I've been reading the. Are you talking the original Claremont Alan Davis?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I've read the first 25 issues. So I finished the Cross Time Caper. I'm reading like all the X-Men books right now. And my next batch of issues I have to read actually is like Excalibur 26 to like 34, I think is my next set of books I got to read. Which some are by. So, did you, just curious as a fan, just side note, do you recommend reading after the Cross Time Caper then?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's worth continuing.
Yeah, I mean, it gets. Once they bring in a couple, like, I don't know, it's like Kylan or whatever, this weird character, but it got pretty solid again when they brought in, like, Nightcrawler. Like, he brought in Colossus.
Oh, he brings in Colossus to Excalibur?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I like, that's really cool, man. I
And
didn't know that.
Shadowcat, too. She brings.
Well, Shadowcat's in the
Yeah, she's in the original, but they bring in somebody else, too. Like, Peter Wisdom or something like that. Yeah, it gets pretty good.
I don't know too many of the 90s characters all that well. I know, like, Bishop, Blink, Gambit, obviously. Well, no, Cable was late, like 89, I think. The Cable first.
Yeah, but I mean, we will all consider him a 90s
character. Yeah, it's kind of like Jubilee. Like, she's 89, but it's like,
Yeah.
she's basically there. Same with Psylocke. Psylocke like became the version we know, like literally the last issue in of the 80s. So, yeah. And your favorite Douglock? I do like Doug Ramsey. I don't think he's a bad character. But yeah. So, all right. So you're a big fan of Peter David. You're a big fan of a lot of these writers. I know you like Claremont. In terms of
I like Grant Morrison, his Animal Man run. I love that.
Oh, I've heard that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I've heard that's absolutely phenomenal. So let's walk through the rewards on this book.
Okay, the way they have them set up, it's like by price. So still got some Chibi stickers left. Anybody missed out on the first campaign?
Oh, yeah, I have mine right here. Definitely worth getting. How much, like, are those a pain in the ass to make or to package?
No. They send them to you. I use Sticky Brand.
Okay.
So you just send them like a PNG file or something like that, or a high-res file, and then you tell them what size you want, and they'll give you a quote. Usually they run specials, like to where you get like 200 for $39 or something like that.
Gotcha. Let's see. Oh, add-on only, which is this. This is
the black and white version of the first issue.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to do one of those because I've been looking at just my black and white art. I haven't gotten it colored yet. And while it's still going to be colored, there's just something about black and white art that's just really special.
Yeah, with a horror book, it's pretty good. Like, I almost didn't want to color some of the pages.
Yeah, man. No, I get that. But your colorist did a good job.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, that's another thing, too, is making sure you have a great colorist is so important. And you really, I find, and I'm not sure you feel this way, you really get a stronger understanding and appreciation for the comics you love once you create one because you see every step of the process.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, even down to the roughs and the thumbnails, then like pencils, inks, colors, and even the flats. I don't know how on top of things you are with your artist, or if you just kind of are like whatever. But
yeah, I normally don't see the flats like now with the second book.
Gotcha. Yeah, it depends for me. Flats are not pretty usually to look at. You go. I was like, oh my god, when I saw them, like, oh no, relax, they're the flats. I was like, oh, you know, because you kind of just you don't really get it. There you go. These are all really cool, and you got the. Is this? Hold on. Is this for your, like, for beer?
Yeah, oh yeah, brother. It says, I drink and I read comics. What do you do?
That's cool. and then you got a trading card set. So all these are. How does that work? Add-on, like when you do say add-on only, you
So
can't.
like, I mean, you have to buy like a physical copy. Like if you buy the add-on, like so you want that cover right there, that Dillard cover, you can go get the add-ons, and it's a discounted shipping rate, so it's not gonna ding you every time you get a add-on like a bunch of shipping.
Gotcha.
So there's no shipping on the cards, so you don't get charged that. And then when you buy the add-ons for if you want to get issue 1, it's only like $2 for the shipping, so it just adds a little bit of weight to the shipping cost. So all thought out. Second time's the charm, because you don't think about these things on the first campaign. You get this shit costs money. There's overhead.
I was always of the mindset, I was like, how can people charge so much for comics? And then I'm starting to do I remember I was with Niall Scala, and I was talking to him, and I told him, like, what I'm not even going to say. And I told him, like, oh, this is what I want to charge for my book that's going to be, like, this many pages. And he's like, dude, are you insane? You're not going to fund that. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then I start looking up printing costs, which are always going up, and apparently people are afraid they might go up again, which I'm dreading. And it's like, man, this is insane. The amount of, especially because the thing is, these big corporations, they can charge with lower because, and even then, the prices obviously, are much higher than they were back in the day, but it's because the print runs, like, it's like dirt cheap, the price for copy. I ask everyone I can in the industry for advice whenever I need some. Sorry, I was just looking up the Hulk cover that was pulled from, because homage covers, like, I like your spin on it with the werewolf, because the werewolf is such a perfect, like, the Hulk is such a great. Yeah, it's cool.
And
that's one of those runs. Yeah. I normally do, because they're rarely ever as good, but if you do something special with it, like a werewolf transformation to this is so good. That's so good. Yeah. Do you, so that's, yeah, I really got to read that Peter David Hulk run. That's one of my, like, long runs that I want to dive into. But I'm probably going to take an X-Men hiatus after Claremont's run, because that's been a marathon. But it's been a good one. But Peter David's Hulk, I loved Hulk the End. And his X Factor, I know, with Larry Stroman is really cool. I might get Larry Stroman on at some point, actually.
Initially, when it came out, a lot of people were like, whoa, what the F, man? You just took the whole team and you just took them back to the X-Men. Who the hell are these clowns?
Really? See, I'll be honest.
I was a kid, because, I was like 10, 11 years old or something like that. And then all of a sudden, it was like the all-new X Factor. I'm like, huh. I know who Quicksilver is. I knew a few of them, but I didn't know, like, Strong Guy. I didn't know, who I can't. Her name escapes me right now. The little liaison to the government. But it was good. It was solid, man.
Yeah, I know they gave him new costumes too. This
there
is
it is,
right?
right there. Yeah.
Let's see.
When I saw that cover, like, I was like, ooh. I don't know who half these people are. I want to get it.
Yeah, it was. What's weird too is Strong Guy has such an underwhelming first appearance. I didn't even know he first appeared. Like when he shows up again, because he basically, and this is true. Do you know what his first appearance is? So Strong Guy is literally just. I guess it's really funny that that's the name. I wonder if that was just like the working name in the script, because. His first appearance, I have it on my shelf, but I'll pull it up digitally since I'm already got the tab open. His first appearance is he's just a bouncer that the New Mutants are fighting. That's his first appearance, and that's probably why he has that exaggerated physique, is because Sienkiewicz.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
Because I was like, wait, what? I didn't even think about this as any major character. It was just a guy, and he just doesn't appear for a while afterwards. But
when they were on the X-Men cartoon, I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Oh, that was a good episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it bothers me because I didn't finish the series yet, but like Havoc and Cyclops, apparently they never
talked after that.
Never talked.
Because like they had a throwback, like their powers didn't work on each other,
Yeah.
like in the comics, and they were like, "What the hell, man? What's going on?"
And then it just never got resolved.
Yeah, it was too much Iceman drama in that episode.
Yeah, maybe in the revival.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, forgot they were doing that.
Do you have a favorite X-Men character then?
Archangel, yeah.
Oh, I love Archangel. Angel I actually liked a lot as a character, but I do understand, especially talking to Louise Simonson, why they had to do what they did, because he was someone who kind of had everything, but also he could just fly, right? And he could see well, but it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
okay, well, there's so many X-Men that, like, okay, you had Phoenix who could fly and do other things. You had Banshee who could do fly and Storm, and most of these characters who could fly could also do something else. And so it made
yeah,
sense why Angel,
yeah.
yeah, he had money, he
I'm
had good
surprised he
looks.
lasted that long, to be honest.
Well, yeah, well, because they brought him back in, if you remember, after Dark Phoenix, and then he's there for like 2 storylines, and then they boot him off again, and that's probably why. Jay in the chat says, "Yo, what's up, everyone? Yo Hojo, what's up, brother? Go buy the Mythicals, it kicks ass." Yeah, Mythicals is good. It's a good read. It's a quick read too. And yeah, again, it's something it caught me. Like, the name is a cool name too, and I like that the story, you could tell, like, even though a lot of the characters you don't get into them right away, you do get, there's enough mystery, but there's enough to know what is going on that I am interested in the second issue, and I want to see more.
Yeah, a lot of first issues they deal with they try to give you too much too soon.
Yeah,
About the characters, like, oh, here's my world. Here's a blah 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 blah. Then you like 10 pages are eaten up. I'm like, all right, well, you're not doing anything.
I've read books like that where I'm like I have to stop. I'm like, I have to take a break, because you could tell that they're on a budget and they have like this amount of page count to establish this, like, an insane amount of information, and I'm just like, this is not. You gotta. And it's because of that I'm like, I don't know if I want is the second book just going to be another information dump? And that's why I like when people, they take their, even though you have 24 pages and you're like, okay, let's take the time. That's kind of something I did too. Like, I'm writing a team book, right? But I don't introduce the team in issue 1. I introduce the main character, because what's the point of having a great world and everything if I don't have a character to explore it with and you don't care about him? And so I decided, all right, you know what? Because I at one point I was considering adding the team at the end of the first issue, and then I was like, nope, this just disrupts the pacing of it.
I mean, you still have to have that vehicle to just bring the reader along. And be like, all right, this is how it is, and then, if you want to introduce the team, you can, but if not, it's okay, because they know there's going to be a team eventually.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So, yeah, right here, got this. Who were your favorite artists?
Oh, God. Arthur Adams.
That's a good pick.
Oh, man. Like, I like Jim Lee a lot, just because that was the first artist, like, I knew that I loved, You know
what's funny is, because despite the age difference, same thing with me. My first comic I ever read, let me see, did I put it back on the shelf? What the hell? Right when I need it the most, man. I was gonna, you know what it was? It was because I was gonna bring it. No, it's right here. Right here. Batman Hush. So, Jim Lee was also my introduction. That was the first comic I ever read. And you could tell it's like beaten up, but yeah, man, it's just crazy. And that goes to show how good timeless art is, is when people will continue to talk about, and people continue to talk about it when I have kids and whatever, about Jim Lee's great, because his stuff, he did so much iconic work that's going to stand the test of time.
Yeah, I like Mark Silvestri as well.
Oh, Silvestri's so good. Yeah. So you're definitely an Image guy then.
Yeah. I mean, they were the X-Men people before Image started, you know, like, all those Marvel people. But,
yeah, Silvestri. And it seems like there's going to be another Image thing. I'm not sure if you saw what was going on at New York Comic Con. It was weird because I was like, from a distance, kind of watched it. But like, they did you hear about the Ghost Machine thing?
That's what it is, Ghost Machine. I couldn't think of the name.
Yeah, I was right across from like all those guys in a row, and it's like one day they're all in this, and then one day they have Ghost Machine merch. And I've only found out through Twitter, because when you're selling stuff, it's like you're, in your head, and you're doing that. And so, but it is really cool. It's just funny how I learn more about the major events from the con checking my phone than being at the con because I'm so in the
Yeah.
moment. It's also such a massive convention center. And speaking of which, are you hitting the con scene selling this book?
Yeah, I put in my application and my information for Big Lick, Northern Virginia, in April, and I
Oh,
think
cool.
a couple months before that, I'm gonna do like it's like a comic and card show, like locally.
Oh, cool.
So yeah,
That's cool.
you
Yeah,
gotta
I
get
mean,
out there, man.
it's good. That's how I made the connections that I have is because I would go to these cons, and then hang out with people after. That's honestly just as the fun part is just as important, especially for new creators as the going up to the show part. I would say socializing like that really is key. That I've gotten jobs because of it, multiple jobs because of it. I've gotten work and made connections. I've gotten on shows that I wouldn't have otherwise. And I've made friends and I'm getting some covers now because of it. So that kind of stuff is super important.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of this game's networking, dude.
I mean, yeah, everything, right? But because I remember that was something I was always taught in film school is, you know, that what is it? That it's everything. That networking and connections are everything.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yep, that's another one too.
Yeah.
I was stumbling on the words there for a second, but yeah, I mean it's true. And that's the thing too is, and it does drive me crazy how it's like you could spend all the time in the world creating the most beautiful script, but at the end of the day, it's not enough. Especially when you're an independent. I mean, I'm sure you realize because I know you reached. I forget how specifically you reached out to me, but you're great at promoting on the socials. And you find out how much of the time that eats up. Because I think, oh, writing, that's going to take a while. Oh, managing it. And then you realize how much of it you have to spend on your phone or your computer or whatever, just promoting this thing. Just like, hey, check it out, check it out. It's like a non-stop thing.
Yeah, I get like a couple breaks a day. When I'm on my breaks, I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm eating my food, like, all right, back to work. And then I do
Yeah.
my day job.
Yeah.
And then if I have any kind of break, like go to the bathroom or like run a diagnostic where I have to literally look at a screen for just 10 minutes to make sure nothing goes haywire, I'll just be like, oh, I'll check this, retweet this, boom, 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 bam, bam, boom.
Yeah,
So-
I know. It really, and it seems weird to me to have like Twitter be work. But that's the only reason I created Twitter because I didn't want to be on that platform. I have fun with it now, but that was the reason I created it. Is because people are like, Vaughn, we want you on there. I'm like, right.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at my wife. She's like, you said you hate Twitter. I'm like, I know.
Yeah,
I know. I hate it.
it's work. It is. It sounds. But the thing is, sometimes I do have fun with it. Sometimes a little too. It's an addicting app too, and the thing is, dopamine. It is a dopamine thing too, with getting instant gratification, and so it's on one hand, like, it's great getting out there on the socials, but on the other, it's a ton of work and what have you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So definitely, I mean, this book. Everyone, make sure to check it out if you haven't already. I see the digital PDF number 2. Can you get number 1 digitally as well? Like, how does is
Yeah,
it
you can
issue
get them
1?
both. You can get them both together.
And it's all on this campaign.
Yeah.
So everyone, make sure to check this out. And I know it's going to be you're launching an Indiegogo later, correct?
Yeah, November 17th.
Nice.
We're gonna
Nice.
do a Kickstarter there, so I'm gonna like break a pool cue over my knee and be like, have at it, do what you want, back where you want. It's both the same platform fee. It doesn't matter. to me.
Yeah. No, that's good. I'm gonna launch on probably every platform I can. It's gonna be a pain, but I think
Yeah.
what I'll have is I'll have it like my blowout. Like it seems like what you're doing is having your blowout almost on like one, right? Your big launch on one,
Yep.
and then if you want on the others, like a lower goal, I imagine. Like, but the money you need to make the thing.
Yeah, like it's coming from Fund My Comic because like today I got a straight payment for like over $2,000, so that's going towards the book right away.
It's good. It's good stuff. Everyone, make sure to back this book if you haven't already. How many backers did you get on the first book? Because for first time creator, you did really well.
Yeah, I think combined it was like 325, something like that, 320 something.
Wow. And what are we at now?
57.
57. Good stuff. Well, let's keep going, guys. I mean, if you like the first book and you want to check out the next one, definitely keep it going because I know it's going to be heading somewhere interesting for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
After
yeah.
this, we get to really have fun. Like this, after this one, it's just like the first issue. Like you like, it's like looking at a keyhole. You can kind of see what's going on in there. And this one, like you kick the door open, and then at issue 3, we just like it's
Yeah.
business as usual. She's just coming in during like business as usual, and we're all getting caught up. Like, oh God, what's going on? What's going on? And after by the end of this, you know what's going on, and then we're just rolling.
That's one of the things I like, and that it reminds me in Men in Black how it's like Will Smith's character is just like the whole time freaking out, and then Tommy Lee Jones is just another day at the office the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah,
feel
they
I
got
got.
aliens with coffee, and like we have a talking cat with books.
Yeah, and you get the feel out also at the end where it's like these guys have dealt with it before, and
Yeah.
that's always. I mean, that's why I think people love Kitty Pryde so much, right? She's that entry point character. That's why
Yeah.
you always got to have that entry point character where you have Luke, the farm boy, and then he's the one getting introduced to the world of bounty hunters, of Jedi. You got to have that kind of outside character coming in to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could have a character soaked in, but obviously this way is effective for a reason.
Yeah, because the way I look at it, like that, like the Luke analogy, that is the audience. Like that's who they are. That's who they want to be. Like they see the world like they're the new person. They're the chosen one. They want that. That's the audience representation is like Luke Skywalker. They all want to be that. So like we create these entry level characters because when they read it, that's the person or see it. That's who the audience wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
And identify with.
100%. And but they're not just like a character. You can tell she's a character that has some backstory that we're looking to explore. Nancy Moon, by the way, is a great name. When it comes to naming characters, like how do you go about that?
Her like that's Nancy. It's like I ripped that from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, I did. I feel stupid for not making that connection.
Yeah, and I gave her Mole. That's Cindy Crawford.
Real? Yeah, because she has a very distinct look to her.
Yeah. Like character design is everything with all
it's
these
so important.
team books. Like Alpha Flight 2. I was talking to somebody today on Twitter about the 97 run when they rebooted it and did a bunch of different stuff, and I just thought about it. I was like, Alpha Flight worked so well because those characters were all so different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think that there's you got to make character design is one of the most important things to get right, and I was super, particular about the way certain characters look.
Yeah, because if I don't care about your characters, I don't care about your book.
Or if you don't recognize them too, like if you have characters that are too similar to each other,
yes.
It's like you want it to be even if you're getting different artists to draw them, okay, oh, that's who that is. That's who that is. That's who that is.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's certainly key. So there we go. And so you have this one, you have the second one, 13 issues total, and I know it's 24 pages, right?
Yep.
24 pages.
Probably add some fan art to this one too.
Oh, cool. Are you going to do a fan art contest, or are you just doing fan art?
Yeah, probably. We'll probably start doing that soon.
Awesome. Awesome, man. So, and again, I want to bring this up to the forefront. Let's see, we got all kinds of stuff. But I wanted to just go ahead, because I said it briefly, but I wanted to thank you. Yeah, I know, HOJO, you are a veteran, so I wanted to thank you for your service. I know we talked briefly on Twitter, but it does mean the world. I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but I did want to just thank you for that. I know you said you joined after 9/11. Obviously, I'm affected by that. And
yeah, man. Yeah. The day after, I went and signed up. Like the next morning, I watched it all night. It happened obviously that morning. I'd gotten off from work, and my grandmother called me and she's like, "Cut the TV on." I was like, "Oh, what channel?" She's like, "Any channel." So I cut it on. I saw that. I was like, "Oh God!" I watched it all day because I was working nights, so I had to go into work that day. We were all like getting out of our cars and like all walking up to. I worked at a Hershey chocolate factory. and we're all walking from our cars, just like looking at each other, like we didn't, nobody spoke as we were going into there. Like we just all got in the break room and were like, this is crazy. And like I got off, I worked that night and then watched it again. And my mom went to work and I got in my car and I went straight to the recruiting station. And it was like they were giving away free money. There were so many people there that were like volunteering.
Wow.
So,
Well, thank you for your service. Again, it means the world, personally.
yeah, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Like I don't, I had my problems with the way things went down, with certain missions and directions, but I'm not gonna get into all that. But I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. Met a lot of cool people. This book wouldn't exist if not for it.
So?
I learned a lot about the world.
Because was this idea something you came up with while you were...
Oh yeah, we were out on patrol. It's like, wouldn't it be cool if there's like a team of fucking monsters that just like
Oh, really?
in this just ready to, like a werewolf ready to rip somebody's head off, like crashing in through the ceiling, and we just fucking take shit out so we don't have to expend American lives. And then like I had a nightmare, and that's how the bad guy came about. So I started
really?
scribbling stuff, and this guy was like, I was drawing like some sketches. He was like, "Oh man, I draw." He's like, "You into comics or anything?" And we started talking. I was like, "I got this idea." And it's not really what the Mythicals is now. It was the Mythic Ones. That's what it was at the working title at first, and they we hit it off, and that was the guy who supposedly knew somebody who worked at Cross Gen Comics down in Tampa, I think, down in Florida, and it never worked out, but that's how it all started. Yeah.
That's cool. So you pitched to CrossGen, or you were going to...
We were going to, but we got back. They were out of business. They had done gone belly up. Chapter
That
11,
sucks.
I guess.
Yeah, I hear. I mean, there's so many. I hear so many CrossGen stories. People who work there, they tend to. I noticed there's like a brotherhood, almost like at the people who work at CrossGen. It's like they're all so close with each other.
I bet because they adored their talent to their own detriment.
Yeah, and, I mean, it sounds like it was just, and that's the thing. As artists, we're very passionate people, but notoriously, creative people aren't always the best at business, and so because of that, it's just kind of like that's the way it went, and it's sad, but because I hear the environment, I hear about the environment, and it sounds like it was such a cool place to work.
I heard it was like this cool bullpen where they're just all in a room
Yeah.
together, and it's like, they're all making the comic in real time together and bouncing ideas off each other versus like mailing art to each other and mailing a script.
And that's one of the things I think we are losing. But it's glad to know that there's like this online community, and that there's one thing I do love is so many people are coming. Vaughn, I have work. Can you come here? I have it. And then going up and I think that's actually why cons, as the industry started spreading out, that's part of why cons started coming out, is so people could still have that in-person network.
Right.
Is what I was told. I think Michael Golden told me that. It was either Michael might have been the one to tell me that, or someone did. But that as things were starting to spread out, as things got more remote, cons started becoming more frequent.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why things are the way they are. But yeah, I mean, Rob Hunter worked there. I believe, Andy Smith worked there.
The Presti worked there too.
Presti worked there. Chuck Dixon worked there. Tony Bedard, who I worked with, worked there. That's how Rob hired a lot of the people when I worked at Phenom Comics, or got a lot of them hired through his CrossGen connections. So there you go with that. But I mean, man, that's, even though it didn't work out then, I'm glad it's here now, and I'm glad I got to be there to get issue 1 and whatever other issues I'm excited for. Well, not whatever other 12. So let me ask you a question. So once you finish up this series, where can are you planning on doing anything else, or I guess you'll figure that out later, right? Or...
Yeah, I mean, I've done 2 writing commissions. One for Justin Belmont.
Oh, really?
He does Smokes the Fox with Mike Barron.
Oh, nice.
And then another one with Broken Compass Entertainment. They have this Kill Them Dead thing. They have this book called Unconditional Shove. I did a a horror story for that, like a almost like a EC type vibe. Like I don't have any guardrails. It's not PG-13, so that one kind of gets crazy. And but I do have other projects, you know, that I'm working on a graphic novel and it's like a dark fantasy story. And I got a sci-fi idea, but you know, the goal is to like make enough off of these where I can kind of like work in those little side gigs. But you know, like I've talked with a couple other artists about some other projects, but since this is pretty much done in my mind, you know, like this is just like almost like I can go back and write a little. I know these characters so well. All I need is like 3 little story beats for an issue. Like I can build that around these 7 people. That's so easy.
Yeah, I found that I got as the issue I put by far the most time into is my issue 1, and everything it got so much easier as I kept writing, and I know it'll keep getting easier. Maybe it'll eventually if I start running out of steam, maybe. But like for now, I don't see that happening. I have so much to write and so much to do.
Oh yeah, just writing issue 1 and issue 2 on this one were, I mean, it was so much easier to go back and look and at a like, all right, this page turn here doesn't work. This doesn't make sense. This panel's stupid. Trim this, cut this, boom, boom. And then I've already started to dip into issue 3 a little bit, and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking with this? This is the dumbest idea ever. This is stupid. So, like, it's the more you do it, it's just like a muscle, man. You get that fast twitch.
For sure, 100%. So let me ask you a question. So, people, because I like to record my interviews where people can come back and find them whenever,
Right.
wherever. But I want to know where's the best way people can reach out to you or get the mythicals. It's just on these campaigns, right?
Yeah, you can go to Fund My Comic right now and just type in the Mythicals 2, or just go to the main page and it's like the second one. So it's
Gotcha.
up there, and you can get everything on there. All my socials are on there. Twitter is not that hard to find me. It's just HOJO with an exclamation point. HOJO Mythicals. There can't be 2 of me. I can promise you that.
It's awesome. Definitely make sure to find him on all of these. And by the way, I am curious about the name. So HOJO, that's not your, like, why do you go by HOJO?
No, it's like H. Wayne Desper. That's my
Right.
my pen name. Yeah, my first name's terrible. But HOJO, it comes from a childhood nickname. It's like a Mets player. His name is Howard Johnson. And he was kind of popular for about a year. And we share, you know, the same first name. Spoiler alert. So we, everybody started calling me HOJO that year, and it stuck, you know.
Gotcha. It's a cool name, and it's, you know, it's catchy. Everyone just, oh, HOJO? Yeah, we know. It's
It's easy to sign.
very easy, yeah. Your signature was good. You know, just HOJO.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boom. That's it. And the explanation, I actually, when I first published it, I didn't have the explanation. I'm like, nope, gotta edit the video,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
and the thumbnail. And so I did that. But thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been
Yeah, man.
a pleasure
Thanks for having
talking to
me.
you. And everyone, again, make sure to check out the Mythicals. And anything else you want to say or bring up before we go out?
I mean, it's going to be on there for another, I guess, 54 days, something like that, or 50 days.
Yes, everyone make sure
So,
to check it out.
You know, back it when you can. It's gonna be a nice ride, because we're gonna get started with issue 3 as soon as we fulfill this one.
Sounds good. All right.
That's how I roll.
Thank you so much, guys. And until next time, we'll be seeing you. Peace out.